thank you again, everyone, for joining us, as we dive into the hot drinks insights. And once we are talking, I can see people coming from UK, Latvia, Birmingham, the UK, from France, and we have hot drinks as being like coconut milk cappuccino. That's a good one. Hot chocolate, matcha as well being in the list. Guillaume from France, lemon ginger infusion. That's also good learning. So we'll see later on how these insights as well kind of compare with the insight that we're going to present in a moment. I am Marilyn Guimino, EMEA Marketing Manager, and I will be your host for today. And I'm very pleased to welcome our speakers, Marianne Schick, VP of Sales, and Julie Flukiger, Senior Account Manager. Hi, Marianne. Hi, Julie. Great to have you with us.
Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Julie.
Everyone. So today's session is focused on hot drinks in Europe, and it will last around 30 minutes. So you may have noticed and used the Q&A function of the chat in the Zoom. However, the Q&A function is switched off today. Just going to be around the use of the chat. So if you have any questions as we go, please feel free to share these questions in the chat, and we'll either answer them today or we'll come back afterwards. We are also recording today's session, and we will send the recording by email within the next 2 working days. Before we begin, I would like to briefly introduce Data Essential for people who may be new to us. So Data Essential is a leading provider of insights and data for the food service industry. For more than 25 years, we've been helping businesses make better decisions through market intelligence, operator and menu analytics, and innovation tracking. Our expertise is built around 3 main areas. So the first one are the market insights. So we are helping businesses understand consumer behaviors, social media trends, and menu analytics, so they can make informed strategic decisions. The second area is the commercial effectiveness and sales intelligence. So we are supporting food and beverage companies identify market opportunities, target the right leads or restaurants, and strengthen the sales approach. And the third one is around global launches. This is our tool for tracking menu innovation and limited time offers, LTOs, across major chains in Europe, helping businesses stay up to date with the latest product developments in the industry. We are proud to work alongside major food and beverage manufacturers, distributors, restaurants, tech, and services, and both being local and international businesses across the food service industry. And it's a pleasure to have many of them with us today, and we thank you once again for joining us. So today, Marianne and Julie will take us through the hot drinks market, starting with an overview of the category before diving into both at home and away from home trends. They will also show us how these insights can help unlock real commercial opportunities. Julie, Marianne, over to you.
Thank you, Marilyn. So next slide, please. And we are going to be talking about this webinar is based on the latest Hot Drinks in Europe report that we've done. And we do consumer research across 5 key European markets: France, the UK, Spain, Italy, and Germany, with roughly 500 respondents in each country. So this gives us a really strong comparative view of hot drinks, the habits, how they vary by country, by occasion, by channel. So Julie, would you like to tell us a little bit of key findings from this report?
Sure, of course. Well, one of the main key facts to take out from this study is that morning remains the defining moment for hot drinks. Across market, we will see that consumers strongly associate hot beverage with breakfast, routine, and start of the day. And even in the workplace, consumption moves towards the morning. I mean, how many times have we seen memes saying, "Don't talk to me before I had my coffee," and I don't start the day or meeting before my coffee. So this is very important because it tells us that this category is fundamentally habit-led. But to go more into details about that, so we actually studied at home and away from home consumption. So first, at home is where about 60% of hot drinks are consumed, and it's linked mainly to routine and familiarity. But what consumers drinks actually differs from market. So for instance, in Italy and in France, espresso would be leading in the market on the consumption at home. In France, we also tend to go for long coffee, but number one would be espresso. In Spain and in Germany, we will go more for latte and café crème. Whereas in the UK, where you are now, Marianne, sorry, so maybe at home you will also consume a lot of tea, or maybe you're more a coffee person, so you might go for latte or americano. But so the occasion may be shared, mainly in the morning, but in the end, the format is very local. Now, away from home, we said that around 60% of consumption is done at home. So 40% of the rest, like the rest of these 40% are done away from home. And this is actually where the market becomes more channel sensitive and commercially dynamic. But this you will go more into details about these informations, Marianne, later in the webinar. So among the consumers away from home, workplace is especially important, and it is often the high frequency away from home channel occasion. And this is also where coffee strengthens its role versus other hot drinks.
Can you talk to us about those hot drinks? Yeah, I was really fascinated by this when we came up on this. I was kind of fascinated to see where each one of these lies, especially decaffeinated coffee in Spain. I'm guessing that's a lot of late night coffees, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, indeed, we managed to take out the top 3 hot drinks by market share, sorry. And you see that coffee is clearly leading because it's in all top 3 for every market. But again, the type would be different per country. So for instance, just like for at home, in Italy, espresso will also be the most popular choice by almost 87% of Italians that we surveyed. I mean, over there, espresso is a real religion, of course. In France, it is also very important, but the take-up rate is lower than in Italy. And in France, we also have in our top 3, our comforting hot chocolate that would be at the end of the podium. Let's not forget this one. In other countries, we have other forms of cafe, so cafe au lait, cappuccino. Bear in mind that cappuccino is also in the top 3 in Italy, but there is an important information. You cannot have cappuccino after 11 a.m. This is a morning drink. So I see that it's number 1 chosen drink in Germany. So maybe they have it all day long, which would be an heresy for Italian. But we're
Don't ask for a cappuccino if you're in Italy after 11.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
lesson learned. Lesson learned.
And no surprise, tea is also number 1 in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But as we said, and we saw in this chart, the hot beverage is divided into 3 parts: coffee, tea, and hot chocolate. So we saw that coffee is available in different form and in all top 3. And even if it remains the dominant hot drink category, it is rated number 1 choice for consumers when away from home. Tea and hot chocolate actually defend where they shares. So we saw that tea is very important in the UK. It actually has the highest market share, but it is also increasing in Spain through herbal tea and infusion. I remember that one of our guests is actually loved ginger and lemon tea. So maybe in Spain it is also increasing. And finally, for the hot chocolate, as we said, it's a comforting drinks. It has the highest consumption rate. It is in the top 3 in France, but it is also particularly appreciated by Spanish people in bars and restaurants, where at least 72% of them consume hot chocolate in bars and restaurants.
I think of hot chocolate as a very holiday, like in the winter, and sort of maybe when there's a snowstorm or at a ski resort, or if there's something about hot chocolate. I don't know why it's not the same for other hot beverages, but for me, hot chocolate has a very sort of winter connotation, and just remembering as my childhood, I guess, drinking hot chocolate. So, but not the type of hot chocolate you get in France, which is whew, over the top and beautiful. So totally
Yeah,
different hot chocolate. It's not the little
yeah,
packet that you shake and add hot water to. So very different.
yeah, exactly. And also now you know that you can have ice cold chocolate. There is a shop near my place that actually propose ice cold chocolate for summer. So it's good because when you're not a big fan of coffee, you don't want a hot beverage, you can still have your ice cold chocolate. And so,
Nice. I'll have to try that. I love
yeah,
it.
exactly. So now maybe you can tell us a bit more about the market, how it is segmented, give us some key figures.
Yeah, I would love to do that. So, the preferred channels. So when we talk away from home, so we know we talked that 60% surveyed that they indicate a hot beverage away from home, and so where the market is most dynamic in each different country, France, Spain, and Italy remain strongly tied to those traditional cafes and bars where you can go in and have that. Just don't order that cappuccino there after 11 in Italy. And Germany actually has two different sort of locations that are pretty popular with hot beverages, and that's bakery and patisseries. So savory bakeries and sweet patisseries typically. And then in the UK, very coffee shop led. I mean, I think right around our office here, there are at least 9 that I can point out in one block. So a lot of coffee shops in the UK, but France is mostly, they're kind of mixed in France. So you get cafes, you get bars, you get brasseries, you get restaurants, everywhere you can get a hot beverage in France.
Mhm.
But the key takeaway, I think, especially if you are looking to sell to these industries, or if you're thinking about where to go with a new product or that type of thing, I think the takeaway is there is no size fits all channel. So when you are looking at channels that you want to target, be sure to grab them all, especially depending on the countries. One of the most unique things that we found in this study was 92% of Spaniards, when they drink a hot beverage away from home, they do it in a traditional cafe or bar, but 97% of them drink it at home. So, very big at-home market for the Spaniards, but they do go to a traditional bar or cafe when they are away. So, quite interesting.
Mhm.
So, then let's talk a little bit about why coffee shops matter. So it's not just selling coffee, but they actually matter because of their influence. So they really shape how consumers think about things. So what is the quality of the coffee? What is the origin of the coffee? How about the atmosphere of the coffee shop? What are they discovering? I mean, you don't always have all those ingredients at home, so you can discover new items in a coffee shop. Independent and smaller chains are very important here because they are often, it's a little easier for them to pivot. So they can introduce new blends, they can do distinctive sourcing stories. I think sometimes you'll see it on the wall. Today's coffee came from X. And they also have elevated experiences. So in that sense, coffee shops act as innovation showcases for the wider market. So if it's cafes and bars in France or in Spain, but they want to continue to grow their hot beverages, then that innovation might come from a coffee shop instead of from another type of location.
Mhm.
So, Marilyn, next slide, please. And the big coffee chains have sort of, you can see here for each market, Germany and the UK certainly hold the most for chains, and they're about balanced with the independents. But overall, for all countries, independents still rule the day in the share of coffee shops. And the big ones, of course, we know Starbucks, we know Costa. They are ubiquitous now, though. We see them everywhere. And so, depending on the country that you're in, sometimes you may not see them, but certainly in the UK, certainly in Germany, and offer a variety of experiences. And so the big ones, again, have kind of started that innovation or offered these experiences, and then the small coffee shops are capitalizing on that. And so you can get a classic espresso almost anywhere, and we saw how popular espresso is in all 5 markets, or you can get an elaborate gourmet drink. And at the same time, these specialist cafe boutiques are also adopting that artisanal and local approach. So we talked about where the coffee is from, but sometimes they mention where their milk is from, or that they have, oat milk from here, or maybe they have bakery items from a local baker or something. So they're really promoting those transparent sourcing and preparation processes. So I think someone said the definition of a coffee shop. So basically, a coffee shop is someone whose predominant sales, so their largest sale item is in coffee. So that would define it as a coffee shop, whereas a bakery or a patisserie or cafe or bar, their largest sale may be in food or in cocktails or adult beverages, and coffee is just an addition to their menu. So to define a coffee shop for us, the purchases of coffee are or coffee type products are what makes it a coffee shop. So the other thing that happens is we get to these chains, and we can see here all the chains. You can see Starbucks is there, but it's moving around because hot drinks are playing the central role in this world, particularly at breakfast time, as we learned. And so these chains are going to stick around, I think, but I think that the independents are starting to really be able to capitalize on what the big chains are doing. So Starbucks certainly appearing everywhere but Italy, but they are really catching up, and they're trying to unseat Starbucks in a lot of places because they're kind of saying, hey, we can do it as well. So why not use some of this uh, experiments and some of these new items that Starbucks might advertise for you, but you don't have to pay for the advertising, but you can do it better. So so we're seeing a lot of that. Starbucks does it well in a lot of places, but they're just laying the groundwork for others. So we've talked a little bit about at home. We talked about away from home. Now we've talked about specific segments away from home. But Julie, can you tell us a little bit about some trends? Let's talk about some actual consumer trends around hot drinks that we discovered.
Yeah, sure. So earlier in the webinar, I talked about one of the key finding was the moment of drinking hot beverage in the morning, and we talked about routine. But another key finding that is now more and more growing is the innovation possibilities. As you mentioned, Marilyn, coffee shops is also where you can experiment new type of drinks, and the most positive signal is that how open consumers are to try something new when they are ordering hot beverage away from home, something that they might not be able to try at home or might not necessarily go for it because they want to try it somewhere where it is done very well before having it at home. So that
Well, the
makes
ingredients can be expensive, so you don't want to
yeah,
have to buy the
also
ingredients until you've had a chance to try it.
exactly. Then not everybody is a barista, so in the end.
Exactly. So true.
So that's why coffee shops, or restaurants, hotels, as you say, or even bars can be powerful environment for testing new recipes, premium upgrades, or even limited time offers when when people actually want to try a new product. We see a lot in our LTO segment also, limited time offers for launching offers when they are trying new flavors. So this is a good way. It's a good area where you can test that. So it is not just about routine now anymore. It is also about exploration. And this exploration actually comes into three main categories. So first, we would have the functional benefits we talked about earlier. So some of our guests are fond for matcha. So it actually, the functional benefits goes through matcha or any other ingredients that are associated with focus and well-being. And it's true, now we are not just looking for a hot beverage. We are looking for a hot beverage that is actually uh, giving us something and doing good for our health, for the environment. So this is why we're moving more towards functional wellness, but also towards specialty coffee, which is the second category. It is more and more growing with more attention to provenance, craft, and flavor complexity, just like you explained it earlier, Marianne, with people are looking more and more about where the coffee is coming from. And finally, the premiumization, it is now moving into home. So yes, we said not everybody is a barista. and it is sometimes easier to try something away from home. But now more and more we are seeing consumer investing into a more elevated coffee rituals. And now you can also see some declination of your favorite coffee available at home with different coffee machine and partnership between the brands and coffee machines.
Absolutely. Thanks, Julie. Appreciate that. So now that we've talked about trends, we've talked about segments, we've talked about away from home and at home, let's talk a little bit about strategy now. So how do you take all of this data and turn that into some actionable results? Certainly the trends and insights are a great conversation starter for any introductory discussion. You may take our trends and insights and certainly talk to customers about this. But Marilyn, if you will click for me, that would be great. Thank you. But when it comes to sales and growth, what some of the things that Data Central can help you with, not just those trends that you've seen in this report, but we can also help you spot all the segments that we spoke about today to create that high value prospect list for your sales team. So we have the ability to help you. Someone asked about what defines a coffee shop. Sometimes it's also self-defining. I didn't say that earlier, but sometimes people will just say they are a coffee shop. So in our data, we infer that they are a coffee shop and we put them under that category. So you're able to find that. You're able to find the patisseries, the bakeries, the cafes and bars. You can find those that serve hot beverages. So that's how we can help you in your sales growth. Next one is marketing and commercial messaging. So if we can help you understand the consumer voice, but not only the consumer voice, but also the operators who are elevating that consumer experience. So if we can show you what people are putting on their menu, if we can show you from those limited time offers what people are putting out that are popular right now, you're going to be able to use that in your marketing to show that this is what consumers are interested in, and they are elevating this consumer experience through innovation. So if you are an innovative manufacturer and you're looking to grow something new, understanding both the consumer and the operator is very important. And so speaking of innovation, we can help you spot these trends through, as I mentioned, our limited time offer tracking, our menu analysis tool to not only understand the next hot thing, but what is also not hot, because this can be equally as important to understand what's not working. This can save you time and money, again, especially if you are into innovation. And then the fourth category is consumer and market intelligence. So this kind of goes along with your marketing and commercial messaging, is if you are understanding and you are tracking what's emerging and what's trending, and you're understanding what the consumers are talking about, this is what's going to help you to prepare innovation, to grow. And our most important aspect of this is, what are the operators doing? We really want to make sure that you are aware of where they are, what they're doing, and what the scope of their abilities are. So that is really what Data Central can do for you. And so we wanted to give you another example of something that we do on the next slide, Marilyn. And this is help utilize our data for country comparisons. So we showed you from a consumer perspective all of the hot beverages and kind of where they come from. But we also look at this from an approximate purchase perspective of the operator. So in France, for instance, there are 220,000 operators with hot beverages on their menus. And the approximate purchases from these locations is €2.5 million. So this could be in coffee beans, loose tea, tea bags, barista style beverages that we were talking about earlier. But this is going to give you an idea of how to go after those operators that we've helped you identify. So Julie, can you talk to us more about how we can help our clients utilize this purchase potential and look for high value prospect targets?
Sure. So yes, because with my roles, I'm able to help our customers using our different tools to drive their strategy. So whether it is for market expansion, for prospection, for market sizing, we can help you with our solutions to drive your teams to the best leads. So this can come from two different cases. For instance, purchase potential, as Marianne explained it earlier. So the spending capacity in soft drinks, and more precisely in coffee or hot beverages. beverages. If you combine that with a custom lead score, then you can create a list of top leads, priority leads. And then we also have the menu data that we collect, where you can identify outlet proposing hot beverages or even coffee or hot beverage items that can be used in other products, such as, for instance, in the dessert section with tiramisu or café gourmand that is in almost every restaurant in France. And then you can also, with some reference when they are available, you can also use it to identify and monitor your presence and your competitors' presence. But to go more into a detail on how you can actually use it and how you can use our tool, one of the solutions that is chosen by some of our customers is to categorize prospects by premiumness. What I will call premiumness is it can have different wording depending on the customer. You can call them premium, classic, mainstream, or platinum, gold, silver, depending on what talks more to you. But basically how it works is we will take the top 20%. So we will be dividing the outlet per purchase potential. So we will take the top 20% with the highest purchase potential. They would be seen as your premium targets. Then the next 30% could be used for the classic target or the gold target. And then the remaining 50% would be the mainstream. So basically what it says is that the highest the purchase potential an outlet has, the most interesting the outlet would be for your team. You can upgrade that also with some keywords from the menu. If it presents any items or any references you are looking for, then it can upgrade the ranking of these outlets. And this is very important because when we are providing data, we are providing a lot of information and a lot of outlets. So to help you prioritize your prospection and to go to the best leads, we propose this solution to categorize into premiumness the prospect that you will be receiving, and so it will help your team to actually win time in the prospection. This is true for hot beverage, but it's also true for any other type of product category that we can present. For instance, for the beverage section, we have a very well-developed purchase potential with difference between spirits, wine, beer, juice, waters. So if you have any question, just come back to us and we will see how we can help you with your needs.
Thanks, Julie. So whether you're a current client or you're just thinking about joining us, we're definitely here for you. So please feel free to reach out to me or Julie with any questions or interest in not only this topic from today, but other topics that may help you get to market faster, more efficiently, or more profitably, which is, of course, our goal. We are here to help. So thank you again for your time today, and I'll hand it back over to Marilyn to wrap us up.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Julie, for those insights. And that brings us to the end of our today's session. Unfortunately, it's too short, 30 minutes. So if you are not already signed up for the Data Essential Monthly Simply Smarter webinar series, the slide that you see here now, we would love for you to join tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's episode is going to be, we're going to look at how the global foods and flavors are getting interactions with US consumers. So it's all about the global world into the US consumers or world. So you can register directly with via the link that is shown on the screen. Otherwise, you can also visit our website and then going on to the webinar. And anyway, you're going to receive the information later on. We also hope to see you again in 3 weeks for our next deep dive into pizza social trends. And it's going to be a really interesting session. So please do share that session or that invite with your colleagues, who do you think will be interested into this information. And the last thing is, as the webinar is going to close, a very short survey is going to pop up, and we would really appreciate your feedback. So thanks again for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.